Curtis A reached out to me, said make a theme song for my show. Said alright, just give me all the details, man. And my homie says he don't know. Well, if you're gonna pay me big bucks, cause I might should have something to say. He said, you know what I bring, I'm the customizing king, nothing else matters anyway. So is he gonna have guests? I don't know. Is he gonna go live? I don't know. What time will it be? What will you see? I'm pretty much in the dark, but I can guarantee he'll be customizing action figures, getting paint all on his fingers. It's art by Akerman. It's art by Akerman. Tips and tricks and conversation, sharing his gift with every nation. It's art by Akerman. Art by Akerman. You best get ready, cause now it's time for Art by Akerman.
All right, folks, welcome back to another How'd They Do That? This is the series where we talk to different artists in the community about how they create their art. So we've talked to folks that do pop and swaps and painting and dios and photography and everything else. And, you know, just try to get some tips on how they do these things. And you know what? These people, they don't even know it. They come on and share these tips for free. It's crazy, right? I can't even believe it. Today, we have got a very special guest here. Hold on. Sorry. We've got a very special guest here. You may know him as Joe Bro, Joey Shades, one of the main hosts and awesome people from the Mythic Enablers podcast, and one of the best customizers around. We got Joe Bro, Joe Russo in the house. What's up, Joe? Oh, come off the screen. There you go. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I feel bad I didn't get the memo about the sunglasses. It's the first time I haven't worn them. I actually thought about it ahead of time,
planning on it. It just happened to be sitting next to me. I'm like,
that's too funny, man. I actually thought about it. I'm like, man, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. No, I wish I'd done it.
Well, I am so glad to have you on here. You know, I've already had Eric and I've had Noah. And so, you know, kind of completing the trifecta of the customizers within your enablers group. I think like Wyatt and Michael, they do some like stuff with like soft goods and popping and swapping and stuff, but they don't really paint, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, they don't do the painting. Mike's into photography though. Like that.
Yeah. I need to look at getting him on there for that. I did one yesterday with a photographer that's going to air the week before yours, and then I've got one tomorrow with a photographer. So starting to get that going as well. So yeah, I need to get him on and look at that. So. But I'm excited to talk to you today about customizing, and specifically a lot of the very clean aesthetic knights and things with that are just pretty, right? Like I love, you know, I've talked to some folks that do like the rust and tearing things up and making it look old and ancient and whatever. But my aesthetic has always been, I like the clean stuff. I like stuff that just is really super pristine and just looks nice. And when I look at your work, that's what I see. On top of, you know, not only just the armor, but then you look at like the heads and stuff and like the way that you paint faces and eyes, like just awesome. So I'm super excited to get into this. So this is the slideshow, and I always start with kind of like, I try to pick out one image that I'm like, man, this is going to pull people in. And like this figure, this mix of parts that you did for this figure, I thought was spectacular. So I wanted to start with that one, which is in the middle. And I know we had kind of talked beforehand, because you're one of the few people that still uses a lot of parts from other toy lines, right? Like I think that happened early on in the Mythic Legions toy community, because the library is pretty small. And so people had to go to, you know, Lord of the Rings or, you know, articulated icons or Star Wars even. And, you know, once the library kind of grew, a lot of that kind of went to the wayside, but you've continued doing that. So can you talk a little bit about, first off, like, how do you go about doing that in terms of collecting the parts, choosing the parts, all this and that, and still making it look like a cohesive figure once you're done?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure, man. But first, before I do that, I want to say thank you for having me on the show. It's
absolutely
super awesome that you invited me. Second of all, it's art by Akerman. It's art by Akerman. Oh, hell? That intro is so good by Jeremy DeWitt, man. That is so
He's freaking
solid.
amazing, man. He does such a good job. If
I know.
anybody out there needs a theme song, Jeremy's your guy.
He did
So
ours too for the Mythic Enablers. So
that's
I love
awesome.
that guy. He's good. I love him in person and in every single genre of music, which he seems to be able to just adeptly move between.
Yeah, he's actually got an album on Spotify right now that's really good as well. So I believe it's called Echoes. I can't remember what the subtitle is of but yeah, it's really good.
Outstanding, man. That's it. Shout out to Jeremy DeWitt, man.
For sure.
Thank you for your talent, sir. We should get him on here with telling us how he mixes all that stuff.
Yeah, how do you make the songs?
How do you do all those voices and all those impressions? He's so good. Yeah, so that's awesome. And then I do have to just real quick circle back and say, why guy, you're full of talents as well too. I didn't mean to leave you out. I know I said that Mike does photography, but your talents range beyond any that we can even explain or begin to get into here today. So
Including that just amazing hair, right? Like
yeah,
you can't discount that.
Smooth voice and that beautiful hair, like yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I tell you what, for being an audio podcast, you guys are a good looking group to have an audio podcast.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
I'm like, man, me and Jesse are on screen every week, and then you got these like, specimens that are just doing audio. I'm like, there's something wrong with this.
That's funny, man. No, we talked about that a lot, whether we were going to do an audio or a video one, but it just seemed like the audio was the way to go. Like I liked the idea that like people could listen to us while they're like mowing their lawns or like in a room where like they can't have a TV on or something like that. So,
yeah, for sure, it's a different medium, and some people just really love that. Like that's their thing. So yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Well, so tell me about these guys and kind of how this stuff comes together.
Yeah, man, I love customizing, and you definitely nailed it on the head. I do like to mix in parts from other lines. I really like just the way it like mixes up the characters a little bit and makes them look a little bit different and a little unique. A lot of what Legions is known for is like, the intercompatibility between their own figures and like everything popping and swapping. But in the beginning, a lot of that was, all the parts kind of look the same. Like they painted them. They did an amazing job of making, two figures with the same parts look completely different just by their incredible paints that they would do, or just mixing like one little different part here or there. But I really wanted to like kind of like keep on doing that, keep making them look even more unique and like just branching out further and further. So that's where it started out with, was trying to make my Legions, look less uniform and more unique. And at the time when I caught onto the line, like older Legions were super hard to come by. Like 1.0s were like, they were not to be found unless you wanted to spend big bucks on eBay. Big Bad Toy Store had like a bunch of 2.0s. And so like, that was like my first foray into Mythic Legions, was mostly with the 2.0s. In fact, that's what got me into it. I was just scrolling Facebook one day and a Big Bad Toy Store ad came by for just like a toy scroll or whatever, and it had a picture of the Elf Legion built, the Elf Ranger, and I was like, oh wow, that's really cool looking. I was like, I like Lord of the Rings, so I was like, I just clicked on it, and then it took me into like other figures from the line, and I saw the Shadow Elf Ranger, and I'm like, holy moly, if I wanted to swap those things around, like if I looked at those things and I customized them, I could make a Drizzt. Like I saw that pretty quickly, and this is before I knew anything about the line. I didn't even know like they're meant to be popped, and so I didn't know that they came apart. I just looked at it.
Is that something you had done in previous lines as far as the creating part?
Yeah,
process?
it was not a lot. Like I didn't have a huge hand in it. Like painting, I started when I was like in middle school, when I was probably about like 13 years old. I used to paint miniatures. I played D&D for like a few months, but I never grew out of like painting the miniature, or I didn't grow up painting the miniatures for like a really long time. I painted them for years. Then grew out of that, but I did like little bits of like figure customizing here and there. I was actually thinking about it, and I'm like, man, I used to customize figures all the way back when I was a kid. I used to take my GI Joes, unscrew the back, and then like pull them apart. They had those rubber O-rings inside, and I would like switch body parts out. I would take Snake Eyes like head off, and I'd put like an unhelmeted head on Snake Eyes, so like I'd have like unmasked or whatever, and like I would do that with a lot of my figures. So I didn't realize it then that I was customizing figures, but now looking back, I realized like it's something that started as a really young age. between, customizing toys and then painting. Like that all started pretty early on for me, and it's something that's been like I realize now like a part of my life for a super long time.
Yeah, and then you
So,
get into a line like this, you're like, well, this what this is meant to do. It's like, oh my gosh, like it was built
yeah,
for me, you know?
yeah, well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So when I clicked on that ad, like I didn't know what I was about to get myself into, first of
right.
all, and I didn't even know that they're literally meant to be like pop and swapped or moved around and customized. So that was amazing, and I didn't, and at the time, like I wasn't thinking back to like wasn't thinking about painting them, and I was
Mhm.
certainly wasn't thinking back to my youth of painting or my youth of customizing toys or anything like that along the way. So I didn't realize what a background that was going to tap into for me when I found this line. So like I love Mythic
Is
Legions just for what they build and what they put out there. Like their
yeah.
figures alone are amazing and incredible to collect, but like even more so for that, they really hit something deeper inside of me for all the things that it brings out, the creativity and the nostalgia from back and like my youth and stuff like that.
Is it something that you figured out on your own, like when you got your figures that you're like, oh, you can switch this and that, or did you like did you find that out from other folk? Like when was that part where you're like, oh my God, these are meant to do this?
Yeah. It was pretty early on. I remember like that first time I saw them on Big Bad Toy Store, like it sent me down. I laugh about this to this day. It sent me down this Mythic Legions wormhole where I just started like looking at YouTube reviews and YouTube reviews and YouTube
Mhm.
reviews. And I was in this wormhole for like 22 hours straight. Like I was immediately hooked.
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
oh my God, this is
Deep
what I've
dive.
always
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, this is what I always like had dreamed of. Like when I was a kid growing up, like I always liked knights and I thought they were super cool and I was really into that kind of stuff. But like we didn't ever have cool knight toys. Like they never existed. There was like
Mhm.
Schlake, like the ones that are like they're like small, like maybe like 2 or 3 inches, but they're like static little statue ones. Schlake, just they're painted cool, but there's like knights or dragons or whatever, and they're not really action figures, so to speak. Um, but that was about it. Like there wasn't anything really cool. There was some like Dungeons and Dragons stuff, but it wasn't like it didn't hit the same chords, I guess. And I think it was a little bit before my time in the 80s. But yeah, so these came out and I saw them and I'm like, wow, this is like immediately my jam. I'm like, this is incredible. I did that like huge deep dive into them. I started watching so many toy, like that's how I found Toy Bro. Like I watched like 1,000 of his videos in a row back then. I loved that orange background. It like really like made it easy to see the figures in the background and all that stuff. And I think just through some of that, like just researching that day, like I kind of found out that they pop and swap, but I don't think I really realized it. And then I don't know how I ended up probably just looking for him online or whatever. I ended up finding the Cabal pretty quick and getting turned on to Walter Hagen, and then just seeing kind of like what you could do there, like on the Cabal, obviously full of cutscenes and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So that just like really started to pique my interest. And I had like no medieval toys that would like customize with them at that point. Like I was pretty much like a pretty hardcore Star Wars fan, but I hadn't
Mhm.
collected toys at all for like 8 years.
Mhm.
I just put it off to the side, and all my Star Wars stuff was sitting in closets for like about a decade almost. And then when I found these, it literally pulled me out of hibernation. But I had to start collecting fodder all over again, and I had some old like McFarlane figures, like medieval times, kind of like medieval McFarlane, Dark Ages McFarlane. I don't even know what the heck the name
Right.
of the lines are or whatever, but like they're pretty old. They're from also like 10, 15 years back, even probably 20 years back. I don't know, really old. But I was like, man, I think some of those guys had like some medieval stuff on them. So like I found them and they're just, you know what they are. They're just like statues or whatever.
Right.
And I would like I pulled them apart and I'd grab their weapons or I'd grab their equipment off of them and I'd start like mixing and matching as best as I could with those. And then I just kind of built up my fodder stuff. And there I found Lord of the Rings, like the Toy Biz Lord of the Rings figs or whatever. Those are pretty useful. Like they had a lot of cool gear and stuff like that. They might not like pop and swap easily, but like you could use them. And then I would see the customs on the Cabal, so that would also give me ideas. And Cabal is a great place to go if you're ever looking for inspiration. That's like full of so much talent and so much creativity. So I would see a lot of things. I'd copy some stuff there, or I'd like move around recipes based on what I saw. Like I told you, I'd originally wanted to make Drizzt, and I did. I pop and swap the shadow and the regular Elf Ranger pretty quick, but that figure morphed so many times and it evolved so much over
Yeah.
time, just as I found more and more parts and
Kept
like
changing.
yeah, it kept changing. And then I would see like then I started chatting with Jeremy Gerard, and Jeremy was like, yeah, I've got a Drizzt too. And I saw his. I'm like, holy crap, those are some really good parts that you've got there. What'd you use? And he's like, oh, like Lord of the Rings, whatever this elf figure was. He's like, yeah, it's really hard to find it. So I ended up, I think I ended up buying it off of him. Maybe he's like, I have an extra one if you want it. I'm like, yeah. So I bought it off of him, made my own, and started like pulling some like World of Warcraft Arthas hair off, and I jam that up in the hood of an elf, the Shadow Elf Ranger, and painted it up green or whatever. And like just did what I did, but like it definitely went through a lot of different iterations along the way as like more and more fodder came into my bin and like came into my like my world, like moved into my circles. And then like a lot of the ones you have on the screen here, they're also McFarlane. I call it McFodder. But McFarlane started to get like licenses for like DC and The Witcher. And the DCs don't always work really great because they're more superhero, or either more like techie or like modern looking stuff. But sometimes you can use their heads in some of their gear, some of their parts. But the Witcher ones, man, those ones, like they really sang out to me. And I was like, they're just cool figures to begin with. And like, if I could just use their swords or their weapons, that'd be cool. Like maybe the straps or whatever. And pulling them apart, I realized like, man, these figures are like actually like kind of more interchangeable than I thought they were going to be. Like the one in the middle that you're looking at there with the Juban hood. That's a McFarlane torso from The Witcher, and the Mythic Legion's arms, those just popped right in there. Like they literally,
oh really? No modifications needed, huh?
No mods needed at all. Yeah, they just popped in. The torso connecting to the Mythic Legion's legs, like it's kind of hit or miss because not all. Here's a little tip of how they did that for you and anyone else listening. But like the McFarlane figures, like they don't always have like the same. He's so weird. Like I don't know why Todd McFarlane is like this.
I know,
like,
it's like very figure. Yeah.
Yeah, he changes things up all the time and just like makes things difficult for the sake of making things difficult instead of like just staying uniform or keeping things like I don't know, just keeping things simple. So like sometimes you pull a figure apart thinking you know what you're going to find. You open up, you're like, what the hell is going on underneath all this? Like this makes no sense. But I think that one, I can't always remember what they are because like I said, they change from figure to figure depending on what you're pulling apart. But I think that one inside the torso, hips, like stomach, I guess, of that McFarlane torso, I think it was similar to like what you would see in a mythic where it was like a hole for a ball to pop into, but the ball was like the ball joint on the McFarlane figure is a lot smaller. So one thing that if you're customizing and you're a toy customizer out there that you should really, everyone should have in their repertoire is, or in their toolbox is, a Dremel.
Absolutely. Love my Dremel. I use it all the time.
Yeah. Like I've got a whole case or whatever. I've had this thing since, I don't know, like 2005 maybe, but I probably can't turn it all the way to my camera or the stuff's going to fall out of there. But yeah, it's got the Dremel. It's got all these bits and heads. It's got all kinds of like cool like gadgets and stuff like that. Like every kind of like different sort of sawing head or drilling head or dremeling head that you could think of.
I actually switched to a cordless one last year. Just because I couldn't stand to be tethered. Yeah, and man, I love that. I love the cordless one. But yeah, a Dremel is kind of essential for this stuff. Yeah. If you're going, especially if you're going to be, either modifying Legion's parts or incorporating parts from other toy lines, for sure. Yeah,
and a lot of people are like, really hesitant about like using Dremels. Like I guess they're like they've never really held one or used one. They're really a simple tool. Like the concept of it is just a rotating head. Like think of a drill gun, or like it just spins. And depending on what head you have on, there are different head attachments. Like the ones I use a lot are like sandpaper, kind of like a hardened sandpaper head, I guess.
Yeah, those I think they're called grinding tools.
Yeah,
those pink ones there that we're showing. Yeah.
The pink one. Yes, yeah, they come in different colors, but the ones I have are pink.
Yeah,
those are like they're so simple. It just spins around and it basically it just grinds away material. Like that's all you're doing. So for that torso, it already had like that ball like in the middle of it, like where you'd connect sort of like the regular Mythic Legion's waist ball up into it. But you just took I had a Dremel head, that like grinder head, but it was circle. It was like it is a ball. Sometimes they're like a cylinder or like there's different shapes, but this one was shaped like a ball. So I just grinded the hole bigger. That's all I
Yeah,
did.
so essentially what you're doing in there is you're getting in and kind of moving it to the side, right? Because you want it to be a smaller opening and then get to a bigger area so that when the ball goes in there, it locks in place, right? You don't want it to slide right back out.
Yeah.
So it's not like just using a big drill bit. I think some people that maybe have never used a Dremel, like you're not going in there and making the hole the same size all the way through. You're actually kind of creating a lip there and just making the opening bigger.
Yeah. Whenever you can. I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes you don't have a choice. Just there's not enough material there to
Yeah.
grind away, or just depending on like what figure you're using, or like, sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. And that's kind of what the fun thing about being a customizer is a modifier, like modding figs,
Make
is
it work.
like you kind of, making it
Yeah.
work, like
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to make it work. And you're like, well, I've already effed up this figure, so I don't want to waste it. Let me see what I can do to make this work. And sometimes you get really, really creative with them.
Yeah, the modifying or kind of, customizing that way is like a whole different thing from the painting. And sometimes I don't want to paint. Sometimes I'm like, I really just want to kind of do that playing around, modifying parts and putting things together and mocking them up. And then other times I'm like, today I just want to paint. So it's whatever hits you,
Yeah, same here. There's so many times that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to paint today. I'm going to paint today. And then the morning comes and I'm like, oh wow, I think I want to try and put this together with this, and like, oh man, I think I have this other guy sitting in the fodder bin that I've been meaning to pull apart, and it just turns into exactly what you just said. It just turns into like there's a shred
day.
You just start tearing up figures. But yeah, like obviously, like the like easiest thing to do is pulling them apart is with hot water. A lot of people ask, how do you pull apart figures? Well, I'm sure has shown many times, but hot water is like my preferred method of doing that. Oftentimes, if it's not feasible to use hot water, like a hairdryer, just have like a hairdryer in a drawer behind me. I confiscated it from my wife to her chagrin. And she's still mad at me for it, but it works really well. Like the hairdryer has saved my butt so many different times.
Yeah. I use a heat gun, but it's definitely, that's just because I'm impatient. Like I think hot water is definitely the best way to do it. Heat gun is fast, but you also, if you're not careful, you can melt the parts really easily. So you got to just be real careful with it. So
yeah, I don't have a good technique with the heat gun. I've tried it before, and I ended up warping some parts. So I'm like,
I did too. I think the key is just keep it moving. If you keep it kind of like moving back and forth as you're doing it, you don't hold it in one plus spot too long, you typically can get by pretty well. But yeah, if I'm doing a whole figure, or I've got something that's difficult, and I got to really get the heat inside there, especially like ogres or something like that, where they got the really thick legs that you got to get through to get to the joint and stuff. Hot water for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, the hot water is that's the best way if you can use it. But like I said, I'll probably keep using the you can use the heat gun or the hairdryer, but I'll probably keep using the hairdryer just because I'll get myself in less trouble that way.
Whatever works for you. You got to try different things, folks. See what works for you. But I love how when you do this though, like you incorporate these parts. So like that middle one, like you said, you got the Witcher torso. This one on the far right, I believe that's a Kylo Ren kind of, I don't know what you call that, like cape scarf kind of piece on the back. And then like Witcher arms is what it looks like. So like, you basically took one Witcher and you spread it across two different figures, and they both look like finished full figures. Like it doesn't look like something where it's pieced together and like, well, this doesn't match, or this, like they look great.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you saying that. Then and that is the same figure there between the arms and that torso. Like, yeah, I did spread it out.
Is the pauldrons from that figure as well?
Yeah, so those pauldrons are like permanently attached to the arms. Like, yeah, I could take them off, but like they're on there, like they
gotcha. I didn't know that.
Glued into place on there or whatever. So like when you move his arms anyway in any direction, the pauldrons move along with him, which is kind of why I have him like just kind of in that sort of hulked over, kind of shrugged forward position, because that made him look the coolest. But yeah, that's you nailed most of those parts. Like that is the Kylo Ren cape. I learned about that one from Jeremy too. He's definitely a wealth of knowledge. If you followed him for a few years, like Jeremy's definitely knows a lot.
Let me pull up this real quick, because I know early on when I got into customizing, I would go here. This is oh, that's not it. This is let me stop that. Here we go. There we go. So this is actually like Jeremy's website that he had, and he doesn't update this anymore. But back in the day, this thing was like a gold mine because you could just go down here and you could find something you think is cool, and you click on like, okay, well, this Angel of Death, right? And then you scroll down, and he would tell you in here the recipe, and it tells you exactly where all the parts came from, right?
Yep.
And you'd be like, okay, it's a Black Knight Legion builder. Okay, I can get that pretty easily. And then it's like Warcraft Heroes of the Storm Arthas that you were just talking about, right? And it says they use the belt from a DC Wonder Woman, Ares figure. The head is from a Marvel Legends Taskmaster, and it would just give you all that information. You're like, okay, now I got to make my shopping list.
Yeah,
and you can go out.
I've been on this site and used this many a times. Like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So this was really cool, but once again, the parts library has grown so much now that a lot of people don't do that anymore. But early, back in the day, like that was the thing. You go, okay, well, you get this part from here and this part from there, and then you go, well, that part's pretty expensive now. Maybe he used it, a couple of years ago and it wasn't so bad, but now you try to get it on eBay and that one figure is going to cost you $100, $200. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, I ran into that a lot of times. Absolutely. Some of those figures are definitely out of the price range for fodder.
Let's take a look at these. So now
go back. Just go back.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention because I kind of dig that that one we were just talking about a minute ago, the one that's on the far
right.
Yeah, the far right there. That one is so that one I really liked that figure because with all those like little silver studs on it, which go like all the way down the bracers, and it goes, it's obviously on the pauldrons as well too. But like it really looked super cohesive with like the Valak torso and the Valak,
which have that same exact accents as
yeah, it really did. And then throwing on the cape, whatever. The cape was like put on there as like a piece of necessity because the hood itself is from, I think it's a Shazam figure, maybe. I want to say it's a Shazam figure hood. And it kind of like, you can kind of see how it doesn't sit all the way down to like where the shoulders would be. So I needed something to kind of like fill in the air that was in the middle of there and like the gap. And like if you turn it in different ways or whatever, you can definitely, it definitely hides it depending on how you turn that figure. But I needed something to hide that. So that's actually where that cape ended up coming in as like a useful way to create the transition line between like the hood and like the body. And that's something modifiers have to figure out all the time, like toy modifiers, toy customizing. If you've ever done anything with other parts from other lines, like not everything fits there seamlessly, like plugged in. They're not meant to go together, or they're not intended to go together. You got to try and make them get together.
You got to make it work.
You got to make it work. So with that, like sometimes, you use another piece, you pull it off of a different line and then doing that. There's a fun little trivia piece about that figure though. That's the Attila 2 faceplate that's in there, obviously, but that's just a faceplate, right? Like that would just be floating around in the heavens normally. But I ended up taking like an old crusty.
I thought it was like the other head that's like the full head. Yeah, that's cool.
No, so I ended up taking like an old crusty skeleton and like slicing its skeleton face off because
I can't wait for the skeleton guys to watch this video and just rage in the comments that you destroyed a skeleton to put his face on it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you know me, you know that skeleton head's going to just sit in my fodder box for eternity and never get used. So I'm like, how can I actually use some of these skeleton parts? And that's what I did. I sliced its face off to make it smooth and like attach the.
And then you still got the ball socket to plug it into the neck and everything. That's great. I love
exactly. That. Yeah. And that very first one, like way over on the left there, that's my Attila regular head, like the head, not the faceplate. And I put it onto a this is another cool toy line that's really like a treasure mine of fodder. It's the new Lord of the Rings figures, and I think that they're made by, it's not NECA, no, Diamond Select.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I couldn't recognize that. I knew the other two. I knew where the parts came from, but that one I was like, it kind of looked Lord of the Ringsy, but I was like, I think it's too big for the old Lord of the Rings line, so I wasn't sure where that came from. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. So that's the Boromir figure that came out like maybe like two-ish years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Yeah. And it's cool looking figure. It has like this really long, like Boromir's character has like this, like that tunic that you're seeing there. Yeah. It's very long. It like goes all the way down to like his, like past his shins. So it's really, really big, and you can't move the figure at all. It's kind of static. So when I got it, I was a little bit bummed. I'm like, man, like I can't really do a whole lot with this. I took its head off immediately, like I always do, and dremeled it out. immediately it's like, if you see that castle there behind me, it's on his head's dremeled out. It's on a knight behind me there. And I knew I'd use that. And like his shield is like really cool. His weapons are awesome. Like, so I've used those for customs, but I was bummed because like a large portion of the figure, like I wasn't able to use it. I pulled its arms off and his arms fit into a mythic. So I ended up putting his arms into a mythic.
Good to know.
And then
Okay.
the mythic arms there, those went right in as well too, if I remember correctly. So that looked cool, but it was still like really static. And I ended up just taking an X-Acto knife, which is like the customizer's
Another
other
essential
favorite
tool.
best
Yeah,
friend,
if not the most essential tool.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
X-Acto knives and Dremels, people. If you take anything away from this video, it's X-Acto knives and Dremels, because I use them a
absolutely.
lot. But I just sliced that. I warmed it up in hot water because if people don't know this, if you warm up the plastic in hot water, it makes it a lot softer and easier to
Yeah,
cut.
X-Acto knife will go through it like butter.
Just gonna say, yeah, just slice right through there like butter. So I just tried to keep the lines really, really straight and just run around it. And so now it's more of like your regular Mythic Legions like length waist skirt versus like a whole like skirt that went all the way down. And I was so amazed at how cool those legs were underneath them. Like those were hiding under there. Those are awesome
That's
legs.
cool.
Like they were really good. I'm like, and they're articulated too. I'm like, these are great. Like I was so happy with how that figure turned out. And it started from like a place of like disappointment at first, but just sometimes you let that thing sit and like you just ponder on it for a while, and later on you come back to it, and if you get a little creative and sometimes a little bit brave with what you do with them, you find like you'll be able to use them in really different ways and make really cool, unique looking figures. I love the way that Attila looks like.
Oh, it looks great.
Huntsman Attila. That's even Boromir. You can't really tell the way that the angle is in this picture, but he's even holding Boromir's horn there in his other hand. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So here we've got some tunic looks, and that first one is a Bardric repaint, correct?
Yes, I did not paint that. I must.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I must say that right off the bat immediately. That was a gift to me from Eric Miller. He painted that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about like one of the things that I wanted to really discuss on this one was some of the. Are you using slide decals on there? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Can you talk about how that works? Because I know that's something that people have seen some of these and they're like, man, that's really cool. I wish I could do that, but I don't even know like where to begin. So what does that process look like?
Yeah, for sure. I love talking about waterslide decals. Not a lot of people know about them, or when they do, they don't know how to use them, or they think that you can't really use them. But I had like a little bit of familiarity with waterslide decals from like when I was like 13 and I played with the like little D&D miniatures, and I would paint them. I would buy water. I had bought waterslide decals, and like I had used them a couple times, not really extensively, but I had used them a few times. So I was like mildly aware of like that they existed, first of all, and then like sort of like how to use them a little bit. And I thought I could try and put that on Mythic. Maybe I could do something with it and make it look, like I said, I always want them to be unique, make different characters or unique looking characters or builds. So maybe I can, kind of make the same torso that you see on all three of these figures here. Like maybe I can sort of make that torso look a little bit different amongst all my knights that I have using it. And I started out, I tested it out on a shield, but I just went online and I looked up waterslide decals, and I found a company that was selling them. One that I was familiar with, I think it's called Green Stuff World, I want to say is the name of it. They make like diorama trees and like diorama like bases. Like
I order stuff from there all the time, actually.
Yeah. So they have cool stuff for sure.
They've got like the alligator clips and different things like that. So
it's like a hobby, like they're hobbyists. It's like tools and stuff for hobbyists. And they had a set of actually they had a ton of sets of waterslide decals, all kinds of different ones. So if you're into Cosmic Legions, they had like a lot of different like more modernish looking ones, because you can use them for like tanks. If you do like in real world, like tanks, like World War II tanks or jets and stuff like that. If you build models and stuff like that, you could buy these waterslide decals and you could put them on like the wings of your jets or your tanks or whatever. So there's like a lot of cool ones that you could use for like Cosmic, that would look rad on Cosmic Legions for sure. But I found one that had like a bunch of medieval like stuff, and I was like, I'm going to use them for like heraldry on shields and on tunics or whatever. So they're really like not I don't want people to be intimidated to use them. Like I want people to be encouraged to use them. Like it's very easy. They're just like on a piece of paper, and you get them wet, and then you stick them on the surface, and they just dry on there. So it's
Well, I think the first thing that might be intimidating for people, I think a lot of people think you have to design these and you have to print them yourself and all this kind of stuff. So if what you're saying is like you can just go and buy them and they're already made, like that, I think that's one step of the process that makes it pretty easy, right?
Yeah, if that's something that is holding people up, like I've never designed a waterslide decal in my life. So and I've used tons and tons of them now at this point, and they're all unique. Like you see the one on Bardrick as a tower, and then the one on like that's a Legolas repaint that I did. Also from that,
which looks great, by the way.
Thank you, appreciate it. Also from that that Diamond Select Lord of the Rings line. That one's got like a stag on it, and there's like all kinds of ones. There was dragons, there was like griffins and lions and stuff like that. I've used them on a ton of different ones, different figures, the fleur de lis, crosses, whatever. But
fleur de lis would be cool.
Yeah, the fleur de lis. Yeah, I have one. That's the Boromir head has a fleur de lis on the front of it.
Nice.
I think I sent you a picture of it if you end up finding it in that list of in that
yeah, it might be in one of the slides. Yeah. Well, not only did I get the ones from you, but then I did a deep dive kind of going through your stuff in the Cabal because, normally, and, just kind of a little pause here, folks. Normally, this is where I would have like the person's Instagram scrolling across the bottom of the screen.
Sorry, man.
But as much as I've bugged him and told him he needs to do an Instagram, he is just
you and No Bro both, man.
And so if you want to see his work, you really have to go to the Cabal in order to see what he's doing. And so I did a deep dive in the Cabal. So I pulled up, not only the ones that you sent me, but then I pulled up some other ones. And yeah, it was just a lot of good stuff to choose from. So, but yeah, I
you and Noah both want me to get on IG's on Instagram so bad.
It's just a great library place to to keep all your stuff. But yeah, I think like the two things that are intimidating about these water slide decals is one, how do you like get them first? Like, do you have to design them? Do you have to print them? And if that obstacle is overcome, then it's like the application. So what you're saying is basically water,
another obstacle in between that actually.
Oh, is it?
Price. Let me get rid of one obstacle in between that too. Price. People think they're probably really expensive. They're so cheap, man. For $11, I got it's 2 pages, and there must be, I don't know, like more than 100 decals on each page, and they're all like there's repeats between some of them, but there's so many different designs. There must be 50 different designs. So like depending on what you want, different sizes. Like you've got big, some of them are a little bit bigger, some of them are really small. Like there's all kinds of, like you can see that the tower's small, but there's also like another tower just like it that's even bigger. Like it would actually probably fill in the whole middle of that chest.
Oh wow! And they were for that. How much was it?
$11.
Wow. Yeah, I'll have to pull up a link for that, and I'll put it in with the video when we drop it. That way, people can just go in the description and click on it. That's awesome.
Smart idea for sure. But yeah, they're really easy, and you just you cut out you find out whatever design on the sheet that you want. You cut it out as close to the edges of it as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you just put it in like a little bit of water. You let it like sit in water for like 30 seconds. Put the thing on the surface you want it to be on. So like I'll put the whole piece, the whole design there on the chest, and then you just sort of like work it off. Like the water like makes it slide around for a while. So you just slide it off carefully onto the chest. Pull the little piece of cardboard that the really thin decal is on, like kind of slide that out from underneath it. And so like the decal is now just floating around there on the chest. It's wet, like the chest will be wet, and that's fine. You just kind of like get it in the position you want, try and get a little bit of the water off there so it'll dry quicker. So it's,
and is it already like cut into the shape that it needs? Like you don't have like excess around it and stuff?
No, that's what I was saying a minute ago. Like you do have to cut it off the sheet and try to get as close to the edges of the design as you can.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But once you actually like cut it out, it's like I said, it's going to be on like a piece of cardboard, so it's going to be like a little bit thick. Like you drop it in a little bowl of water, and then you take it off with tweezers, take it out, the whole cardboard and everything out with tweezers, and you put it on top of the chest, and then you sort of use the tweezers to just kind of push the actual decal off the cardboard, and it's really, really, really thin and really fragile, like really delicate. You have to be a little bit careful with it because they'd be pretty easy to rip if you're not careful with it, but it's not like it's not like glass. Like, I shouldn't say
Yeah.
glass. Like, it's not gonna rip like just breathing on it. But like if you're not careful with it, you can rip them. But
Yeah, and
yeah,
while
you
the
just kind of
water is still on there, you can like move it a little bit, right?
yes,
Like
yes,
it's not like immediate. It's not like a sticker, right? Like
right.
I know
It's
some
gonna
people
become
have
one.
anxiety when they get like a vehicle and it's got a whole bunch of stickers and you're trying to put the stickers on, and if you just mess it up just a little bit, well, too late, it's stuck.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Like as long as there's
Now
water,
it's
it still can be moved around a bit, right?
yeah. Now instead of GI Joe, it's GI Joe.
You're right.
Damn it! I got it on there sideways.
Right.
I had a Sky Striker or two that had that on there. So,
Yeah,
sure.
so there, and you know what? I probably just need to go and order a set of those that you're talking. First off, I didn't know they had it. So like I've tried slide decal or the water decals one time, and I had to print them myself. I had to design it, had to print it, and then the way that it works, you almost have to kind of like print it inverted, like backwards, because
Mm,
then when you're applying it, it comes off the other way. So you have to like almost
yeah.
do it in reverse. But if it's already done, like that takes a big portion of that away. So I probably need to just order a set and do a video on doing it. But yeah, I mean, the application process, other than kind of cutting it around and making sure you don't have a whole bunch of excess, putting it
Yeah.
on is not the hardest thing in the world. So
No, you get it close to the size that you want, to get it really close to the edges as you can. You don't have to be like right on top of it. It's okay if like there's a little bit of excess, because when you slide it off the cardboard and you put it on the chest, you kind of, I usually just boop with my finger onto it, and that pushes any water that's underneath it out. And it'll still be slippery is like that. I don't know if that's the right word, but you'll still be able to move it around a little bit to kind of like center it and make it, get it to where you want it to be just right. And then you leave it alone. You leave it alone, you let it dry, and it goes on there. And after you're done, you're gonna see it because it's shiny, like it's glossy, because of the film that it's on. It's gonna look glossier than the surface you put it on, which is gonna obviously look bad on Mythic Legions. And the only thing you have to do after it's dry and it's done, like wait a day or whatever, and I'll come back to it, is I'll hit it with like a matte spray. Just
very
like a
cool.
matte seal or a spray, which you should do anyway. And you spray it, and then it becomes, instead of shiny, it's matte. And also any of those excess edges that you left outside of the design, like so if you didn't cut it like right exactly along the edge of the tower or whatever, doesn't matter, because those would show up if it was still shiny. But once it's all matte, the whole thing blends in with the chest. So like the whole thing blends in beautifully with that green tunic on the Legolas one, and on that blue tunic with the bar.
So whatever color is behind it is what's going to show, and it's just going to kind of be, like
yeah,
it's not
because
in
the
there.
excess,
That's
the
awesome.
excess that's hanging over the edges, it's clear. So
Yeah.
you don't want a ton, because you want to keep it as close as you can. But like if it happens to be a little bit, no big deal, because it's just going to show the color that's behind it. And like I said, you matte spray it, and it's just the same color as what's behind it. It looks good.
Very cool.
Can't even
Very
tell.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Man, I think you instinctively were drawn to the Eric Miller paint jobs.
So this is Eric's paint job and your build, though, right?
Kind of, yeah. So I
Okay.
was working. I was bummed out about the fact that when they revealed the skeleton heads head pack, I was hoping that they're going to do like an unhelmeted knight head pack. And if anybody knows me, I'm super upbeat. I'm always a happy guy. Like I'm really friendly.
Yeah, you were really pushing for a like I think if I remember right, it was like for the knights that don't have the head sculpts now, right? The ones that like the Godfreys of the world that just came with helmets in the past. Is that kind of what it was about?
Yeah, I wanted like an unhelmeted Sir Ignatius, an unhelmeted Sir Galeron. Yeah.
Owain, and
yeah.
Owain would be a fun one based on his bio, because it sounds like he's
I
like
know,
a very jovial guy. And
jovial guy. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. So I have like 3D head sculpts on most of my knights. So I have unhelmeted versions on quite a few of them. But I wanted to see I want the mythic ones, because they make really good, Treadaway makes really good head sculpts.
Right.
But when they announced, so I was hoping that they were going to do like an unhelmeted knight head pack, and then it ended up being skeletons, which, if you know me, is as far away from what I want as you can get. So
Right.
my normal jovial happy self was definitely I was definitely down in the dumps and bummed, which is that's not like my natural personality whatsoever. I'm usually really like upbeat, and the guys picked up on it super quick. And it's so awesome. Noah and Eric painted up a Joe Russo unhelmeted knight heads pack set, and they sent it to me. And so they literally painted up like 5 or 6 different heads. That Bardrick one that you showed in the last slide was one of them. This Dubon head inside this hood was another one. And I always show in our Mythic Enablers chat, like I show him stuff that I'm working on, and I've been working on like this blue tunic and cowl, but I
Mhm.
hadn't gotten any further than and a hood as well too, but I hadn't gotten any further than that. And so Eric sent me this head in like the blue, in like a blue hood, and he tried to get it close to like what he saw me do, and it didn't match. So I ended up having to go back and repaint the tunic and the cowl, but I
Right.
found the exact color that he used for the hood, and it took a few tries. Like I was on the phone with him at the Games Workshop store. I'm like, so Citadel Techless Blue? He's like, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I think so, but that sounds like I've used that before. So yeah, that might be it. And I would tried it. I brought it home and be like, oh, that wasn't it. And he's like, then I go back to the Games Workshop. He's like, maybe Royal Guard blue or something like that. And so I was like looking and like ended up going through buying 3 different paints, but I on the third one, that's the charm, I landed on it.
I
And
don't know, and it's a thing that happens in the toy community or the customizing community. Well, people will go, oh, like, so well, how'd you get that paint match, or what color did you use? And I don't know too many customizers that could just tell you, because there's like people are mixing things, they're using different they're using a wash, they use a dry brush. It's like if I told you all the steps that I went through this, there's no way you would believe it. Like, there's just so much going on. So it's not like, I think people sometimes feel like that's an easy answer, like, oh, you just grab this one bottle from the store and you're good, and it's never that. So
yeah, Curtis, I actually try to be that guy. Like I try to be as simple as I can. Like I have a million paints for that exact reason, because I just try and have any
yeah.
color I might need on hand, or as close to it as I might need on hand. So like the only time I'm ever mixing paints is if I'm trying to match something, which I'm really actually
Gotcha.
pretty good at matching paints,
Yeah.
finding color matches. But I try not to do it if I don't have to, because it's just a pain in the butt. And then like if you run out of that color, then like, oh shit, now I gotta remix this
Yeah.
again and get the exact same color again. Or if like I chip it in the future and I gotta try to remember what I did. I actually write down all my recipes. Like I'm
Oh my
really good
gosh,
about
that would be
writing down the paints that I use.
that
You
is
should
so
see my
organized. I
Evernote.
can't even imagine that.
No, it's so good. I forget sometimes, and I'm always bummed when I do. Like those will inevitably be the ones where like I need to go back and do a touch up or something. I'm like,
Right.
shoot, that's the one I didn't write the recipe down for. But yeah, on this one, I ended up just finding, and it was just straight out of the bottle, finding the right paint, and then I did the cowl and I painted the tunic. I painted his legs, and the rest I want to say is Xylernian guard, but came together beautifully. Like this is one of
Oh,
my favorite
it's a
figures.
once again fully finished character where you look at this and you go, I could see this released as a figure. Like
Yeah.
it looks perfect.
Yeah,
So
I would buy 10 of this figure if they released it. It looks super
absolutely.
duper cool.
I
It
think
looks
people would
super
lose their
duper cool.
minds if they saw this. So
Absolutely. And you know what? Eric Miller's painting for the company now, so maybe this is
hey,
the hope of the
maybe,
future.
maybe.
Eric, you're watching this episode.
I
Repaint
just love the way that you like the mix of parts and stuff you use. Like I don't know too many people that would have mixed the cloth legs within the armored arms. Like usually you see all cloth arms and legs or all armored. Like you got that look, and then just the color and mix of the leather and metal. It's just a really cool mix.
Cool, man. Thanks for saying that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was trying to go for like a knight errant look, so I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, totally. Then we got so here, the one on the left is one that you're just impatient.
I am. That's
So,
exactly correct.
yeah. So tell us about that.
That is like I want to say I did that in like 2 minutes. It's just the new the new Atlas is
Mhm.
the little inset picture that you see there on the left, and I liked it. I thought it was cool. I liked that he's going to have like a new gladiator style helmet, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, it actually looks a lot like an XES Ray helmet that I have
Mhm.
already on an XES Ray figure. And I went and I grabbed the figure. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty close. And I'm like, the new Atlas looks so much like the old Atlas that I'm like, I can basically build this figure like if I wanted to, like I could make this figure in like a minute. So I did exactly that. I had like the XES Ray like swords are kind of like gladiator looking swords, and the one that you see there in Alice's hand, like that's like a gladiator looking sword. So I just popped a helmet on there from an XES Ray, and then just a strap from like the Mythic Legion's gladiator figure, and that's it. It's just other than that, it's basically just the Kickstarter Atlas.
For anybody out there hyperventilating right now because you said that you just customized a $300 figure on a whim, any, any thought of go to that, like when you're working on this stuff, like, man, this is kind of a rare figure. You're just like,
Yes.
I got to do this cool thing, and it doesn't matter what it takes.
Yes, of course it does. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Just in case anybody's worried.
Okay, it did go back. Okay, gotcha.
I just popped his head right back on there. And yeah,
So you had to scratch the itch, and then it. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But yes, that does factor into it. Like if it's too much of an expensive figure, doesn't mean I won't customize on it, but it just might mean I might not do like permanent customizations. I might not hit it with the Dremel or the paint.
Gotcha. Okay. But it came out looking great. And then the one on the right here, I'll be honest, I couldn't identify most of this stuff. So I'm hoping that you can help me with this.
Yeah, man, that's cool. So was it Blaze Bear? No. William. Who's the gentleman? Oh my gosh, I can't believe his name is now. I feel really bad. I can't think of his name. He's a photographer, William
Wallace Harris. WW3?
Yes. The third.
Yeah.
The third, sir.
Yeah.
William Wallace Harris the third. I want to say either himself or Blaze Bear. One of them. I might even have that wrong. It was given to me a very long time ago.
It wouldn't be the first time that we messed up names on this show, but we tried. We tried to credit you people. So
I hate it when I do that. Of course, you put one on there that I can't think of, but one of them sent me that head just as a gift. It was very cool. It was a very unexpected, came out of the blue, and so I thought it looked sort of Viking-ish, and I had this other piece that was sitting in my fodder bin, that waist piece. I got that from Anthony Velez. I'm not sure who sculpted it, but I got it from Anthony Velez and at Legion's Con, and I had it there, and I was like, oh, I feel like if I put these together, and I just sort of played around with parts for a while. That's not the first iteration of what that guy started out looking like, but I landed on this because I kind of felt like he sort of looked like more like a Scottish kind of like a Viking sort of Scottish warrior. So I tried to do a oh my God, what's that design that's like a plaid? Like I tried to do a plaid design on the skirt, which is hard to tell from this picture, and it's not very great. But it was my first.
I still think the design is cool. I wouldn't have said that's plaid, but when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I can see the details, and it looks awesome. Yeah,
I was trying to allude to like a plaid, so I looked up a lot of plaid like tartans online and tried to like follow along with like some of that, but that's what that ended up being. Just painted that up like that. The wrist guards, I've had them forever. They're just 3D printed pieces from My Action Figure Customs. One thing, in addition to hoarding fodder, I hoard 3D printed pieces. I must have, like, I'm looking down because there's a box underneath this desk. There's like 500 pieces, like heads, bracers, feet, legs, torsos, like from all different creators. Len, Planetary Dog Toys, My Action Figure Customs, like you name it. Like I've got them. From
so what
Anthony Velez.
I mean, because we've already seen some fodder you've used from other toy lines, and now you're talking about 3D parts and stuff. What does that look like in terms of organization? Like, are you just digging through boxes, or do you have this stuff kind of in set spots to where you're like looking through and shopping for things, or do you have an idea in your head? I'm going to use this part from that, this part for that, and then you just go get it. Like what does that look like?
Yeah, I'm a little organized. I guess I'm a little organized in my chaos. In my disorganization. Like definitely the 3D pieces are in a box, but they're not in a box with like Mythic Legion's hands and heads and stuff like that. They're in their own box. And I've got like I try 3D pieces. They're, in case anybody hasn't ever held one or used one before, they're made out of resin, and they're kind of brittle, and they're fragile. They're easy to break if you're not careful with handling them. And I don't want to put like them and just like dump them in on top of each other, because they'll definitely have pieces that break off for sure. So I keep all the heads like in one flat box, and they're all like laid down like next to each other in rows or whatever. And like the torsos are next to each other in a different box. They might have other parts in there with the torsos, whatever, like maybe shins are in there, and maybe feet, boots are in there, and arms are in there, like hands are in there, or like the bracers might be in there as well too. Weapons might be in a different one, but like I do try and keep them quasi quasi organized, I guess is the best way to
Mhm.
put it. Fodder parts, not always as much, but like the fodder parts are in like bins. They're in, well, I think a lot of people use those same Home Depot bins that interlock and you can
Yeah,
stack
yeah,
them
yeah.
on top of each other. So a lot of my fodder is in that. If you could
Are
see
you
the
are
next,
you trying to sort that by Pete? Like, are all your arms from different ones together and torsos, or is it like here's McFarlane stuff and here's Lord of the Rings stuff? Like, how
um,
is that sorted?
that's a good question. So all my mythics are separate from like any of the other fodder. So they're not like their mythic arms are all in like the mythic arms part of
Gotcha.
that container. The mythic heads are like, and most of the parts are mythics, but like a lot of the pieces from like the other companies, like they would be in like a separate, like all the arms would be like in a separate, like little cubby in a different one of those HD Home Depot bins or whatever. But yeah, I do keep them separate. I guess now that I think about it, it's kind of separate. But if you looked at it like and you weren't like a customizer, you'd be like, holy what the hell's going on here? Like,
Gotcha.
if there's like a bin behind me and it's like all wrestler figures without heads. So like if you came into my house and like you happened to open this bin and you didn't know anything about anything, you'd be like, this guy's a psychopath. Why does he have this box of
I've
headless
seen
wrestlers
quite
over
a
here?
few wrestler heads end up on nights from you, and I'll go, where does he get that head from? And then I'll look at it and I go, wait a minute, that's an Undertaker, or that's a
Yeah, yeah.
Triple H or something. But it like you'll do a repaint or something, it looks totally different and looks awesome and it fits. So
Thanks, man. Yeah, I
very
love the
cool.
wrestler heads because they scale really well. They used to. The newer
Yeah,
ones, they scaled them down a little bit, so they're a little bit smaller. But the ones from like maybe 4 years back and before that, they are all like a little bit scaled a little bit larger. So like we all know Mythic Legions have a bit of a larger scale head size.
I get some
And they
cranium. Yeah.
yeah, the cranium. The the older, I'm kind of grabbing a few of them off to the side here, but like the older ones work really well with there's my
Oh yeah,
camera.
hold on, let me embiggen you.
Yeah, the older ones
Yeah.
work pretty well with I don't even know who these guys are. I have no idea who they are. But like the older ones work pretty well with Mythic Legions
No,
as
I
far
think the
as
one on the left here, I think that might be like Big John Stud, but I have no idea who the other one is. But they're awesome.
I'll try and put them in there with a
Oh yeah, that scales nicely.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're not bad for sure.
yeah,
And then a lot of them are
absolutely.
like screaming and stuff like that, and they've got like long hair and beards, so that kind of like lends itself to like the aesthetic of like being a medieval kind of character, like fighting or whatever. So I like them. I use them.
Absolutely. So do you, when you're going to work on a custom like that, are you like going to these bins and kind of, let's try this? No, I don't like that. I'm trying this. Or do you already have in your mind, I'm gonna use this piece, this piece, this piece. You go and grab it and then you're putting together. Is it a lot of trial and error, or is there a vision ahead of time?
No, I wish. Like I envy people like Eric Miller. Like I know he thinks about this stuff ahead of time. He has it planned out and he knows. And I'm never that way. Like I'm so just playing. Like if you looked at the side of my desk over here, it is full of all kinds of different parts. Like there is chaos next to me. It is not organized whatsoever. It's just a mountain of parts. And like I'll just grab pieces and like I'll put them together. Or like I'll be holding the figure. I'm like, what might look really cool is that one guy's pauldrons or like or that one guy's cloth arms on this might look better. And I'm like, oh, I have a set of cloth arms right here, and I'll just grab them. So I keep some like handy right next to me that way I don't have to like go dig out like the bins in the back or whatever. But yeah, no, I don't come up with a lot of things ahead of time. Like I
So
definitely
it's a
come
lot
up
of
with all the
playtime
fun.
then. Like you're
It's
playing
definitely a lot
around.
of playtime.
There you go.
No, it's a ton of playtime.
I love it.
Definitely a lot of it.
I love it.
I
Okay.
wish I wish it was more thought out though. Like I really do wish I had that kind of mind that could work like that and be like ahead of time know what I'm going to go into, because I probably waste an absolute like ton of like way too much time playing with my toys.
I am going to jump ahead because I'm looking at the way this slides cut. I want to hit this other slide first because I kind of got them out of order. So
Okay.
let's go to this one because I want to talk about, and here we get, I'm assuming that's another slide decal on that torso there that you did.
Yes, that
And
is.
that looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that one was one of my favorites. That came out really good.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that is awesome. And then, also like not being afraid to redo mythic heads too, right? Like the fact that you're able to like take this one that's like the, what do they call those, like the whisperling elves or something,
Yeah,
and then making it into a human, and it looks phenomenal, like and it
appreciate
creates
that,
this
man.
whole different look, right?
I appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely have no use for a green elf. It's not my aesthetic for elves. So definitely, I have probably repainted 11 of those heads so far. Not only just the Whisperling ones, but like the the like the Caucasian, I guess, looking one as well, but
Mhm.
putting eyes into them and putting beards on them or changing the hair color, whatever, so that they're a little bit different. I think the one that's on the knight itself
Mhm.
is the Caucasian head that comes with it, like the Caucasian head. And I just painted the eyes and the beard on it. And it's not the same head as in that other before and after picture that's off to the side there. That's a different one.
Gotcha. So then the next one I wanted to go to is this one, because this has one that you actually painted to on the far right,
Yeah.
that you painted to go with the Calavius body, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then obviously with a different helmet and stuff. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that one, and then if you can kind of touch on the other two as well.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I actually really like that one because it's that same helmet actually as that head comes in, and I just took
Oh,
the visor off of it, and I'm like, what can I do with this? It looks cool, but like, what can I do to cover up these holes? And if you know the Goblin Legion Builder, I
hmm
think it's in reinforcements or deluxe Goblin Legion Builder, maybe. It
yeah.
has it's got like a goblin, like pug goblin looking face, whatever. That I was never going to do anything with that.
hmm
Um, but the helmet has cool horns on it, and I just sliced them off with my Xacto, and I glued them on the helmet, and that was perfect size to cover up the holes.
I
So
didn't
just
even realize that was the same helmet. See, this is how like amazing this stuff is that like I didn't even realize it was the same piece.
yeah, I love.
like it's so good. I actually, I'm sorry, folks. This may run a little bit long. If you got to go at some point, Joe, let me know. But I'm
No,
geeking
take your
out on
time,
this
man.
stuff. But
My
I
wife's out
want
of town, and it's a Saturday, and it's raining here today. I have like
I
literally
want to
nothing
go
else
back to
to do
this one
today.
real quick because like the feet, the boots on this, I didn't realize those were mythic parts. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody. I don't think I've seen any figures from the studio do this, and I don't know that I've seen anybody else do this where they've left like the kneecap metal, but then painted the rest of it brown. I thought that this was a fodder or third party part, and then the more I looked at it, I was like, wait a minute, that's like we've got that. That's like Valak legs. It's on several different figures. Like, but sometimes just a simple paint job or a simple modification can completely change the look of something.
That's so cool to hear you say that because I love the fact that you didn't pick up on it because that's obviously the intended desire is that it's supposed to look like boots. I got the idea from Adamon. Like Adamon, I love that figure and I love the way the Four Horsemen painted that figure. It has all metal parts on it, but like they just put brown on it and it looks like
Yeah.
leather. And I love that. So I got the idea from Adamon, but can't take
Yeah.
credit for the idea. But
Excellent execution. So yeah, so going back to this one, yeah, brilliant idea with the horns and stuff. I never would have thought that. And I'm like, it looks like the part that goes around it, it looks like it's meant to fit that horn, like the way that it's glued in,
I
like it,
know,
it goes,
I
looks
know,
like it goes around it. It's almost perfect.
I know.
Actually, it is perfect.
I went and got a couple extra of those goblins. I traded for a couple extra goblins on purpose, and it's just to steal those horns. The rest of the body is good for dwarfs, so like I'll be able to use it. But like the head, I've got that goblin head just sitting in a fodder bin, like three or four
I
of
think
them.
I've got several of those goblin heads. So if you need any
Start
more,
chopping
let me
off those
know.
horns, man.
Yeah,
Thanks, I appreciate it. But
if you
no,
need any more, let me know. I think
you,
I've got a bunch of them. So
no, you use them. Chop off those horns and do this, man. I want to see this be done with other figures, and that's the green Whisperling head that's in that figure as well too. Um, it
very
looks like
cool.
it matches Clavius just because of the way that lighting looks. I love the way that picture came out. In like you can't really see it as good in the smaller like kind of side by like collage thing you did there, but like when you just look at that picture on itself, like the lighting came through so good. He looks like he's standing there like about to face like the dawn on like the gladiator arena. I love the way it looks,
And
but
and out of all the characters that I wish we had a human head for, that's the character. Like that's the one that
yes,
I'm
I
like,
think a lot of
man, I
people feel
really
that way.
wish we had a Calavius head that was just not just
Yeah.
that helmet. I mean, the helmet's cool, but I really wish we had an alternate head for him. So
Yeah, I agree. That that head wasn't actually meant to be a match for like Calavius. But I did put it on there just to mess around with the head and have it like sitting on something for a while. And I took that picture. I thought it looked really cool. And when you
yeah,
catch it in just the
definitely.
right light, it does blend in enough where like it sort of looks like it works. I ended up putting that head in into a different helmet. And I gave that away as a gift to one of my friends, Drew Chase in the
Oh,
Cabal. So
cool.
I
Very
gave that
cool.
away to him. But as far as wanting an unhelmeted head for Clavius, I do agree with you. And the one in the middle right there, I did paint exactly to match Clavius, and that's like that
Nice.
does that Clavius there underneath all that armor
Mm.
is it does match it like exactly.
I love that look in the middle. Like, I have no idea where this whole like upper torso pauldron kind of thing came from,
Yeah,
but it looks
big fodder.
phenomenal. Where
That's
is
Big
it?
Potter.
Oh,
That's
is it?
I don't know the character's name because I'm not a gamer, but it's a Mortal Kombat figure. I think it's his name is
Oh,
something
okay.
Khan, Genghis
Shao
Khan,
Kahn or
Shere
something?
Khan, Shao Kahn.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I just named every Khan out there that's not Shao Kahn.
God.
I said Shere Khan. I think that's the Jungle Book, isn't it?
I think it's Rathacon is what it is. Yeah, no.
Shaka
Yeah,
Khan.
Shaka
Just
Khan.
throw them all in there for good measure. I don't know,
Yeah,
but yeah,
dude. But this looks great. I love it.
thanks, man. Yeah, that armor, that armor, I ended up going back and just hitting it with a wash, so it even looks even better now as far as like matching the Calavius armor there. But yeah, that's a cool figure. I like that a lot.
And then I'm assuming that the one on the left has some Anubis stuff in it, but I may be wrong. I don't know.
Now I didn't send you that picture. You went through my stuff and you found that yourself.
I
I
did.
didn't send it to you not because I don't love this figure, but because I didn't have anything to do with this figure. This is
Oh,
actually
really?
Yeah, I'm glad you put it in there though, because you know who's really fun to shout out. He gave this to me as a gift. This is a buddy of mine. He lives in Tampa. His name is Giovanni. You know him.
Oh, I love
I know him.
Giovanni. Yeah, his work
Uncle Paul
is
knows him.
phenomenal. So
Everybody knows him. You're a friend of mine, Giovanni Bly. Yeah, he gave that to me as a gift, and that is a purpler body that he painted.
oh,
And
wow.
yep. And
Okay.
then I don't know which character's helmet it's from, but he obviously the Gorgo style helmet. He painted that up. He had some parts. He makes a lot of like, well, you know, Giovanni. He makes a lot of Egyptian style customs. That was
Mhm.
one of his first that he ever made, and he gifted that to me. It's actually super cool. It's got an alternate look to it as well too. So like you've got that head and that like kind of shoulder mantle, but then
Mhm.
he also painted up the actual purpler head and like that like the cat torso that like goes on top of the shoulders to like
Oh,
make it
yeah,
look
yeah,
like
yeah.
buff or whatever.
I don't know what that's piece called, but yeah, the upper part. Yeah.
Yeah, that upper part. He painted that as well in the same color scheme or whatever. So I have like a brown cat with the
Oh,
brown
very
cat
cool.
shoulder pieces that go on there too. It's super cool. Yeah, yeah.
Love that. All
I
right.
like it
Um, okay. Once again, no idea. I'm lost.
too.
So you gotta
Black
help me
Knight
out here.
Legion Builder as the
Okay.
base. Black Knight Legion Builder is the base with My Action Figure Customs, pauldrons, waist guard, helmet. Nope, not the helmet, but neck piece. The
Mhm.
helmet is one of the Von boxes, like the mystery Von boxes. I think that one was
Oh,
made
okay.
by Emil, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha.
And yeah, and that's what that's from. Like dragon scale armor is what I got.
So what's the like as you're putting this together, like what's your story about this character?
He's a so like I'm big into Dragonlance, and so like I was sort of moving along the lines of a Dragon High Lord with this figure. They're
Gotcha.
not really what the Dragon High Lords look like, but the pauldrons really push me in that direction because the pauldrons like definitely have like the look of dragon scale mail, like dragon
Mhm.
scale armor. So the Dragon High Lord kind of armor sort of inspired this one a little bit.
Very cool. And then like this is my jam right here. Like
Yeah.
you know, you've got it's nothing crazy, no crazy parts, no whatever
Nope.
this and that, but it's just clean and
Yeah.
crisp and beautiful and spectacular.
Appreciate that. I appreciate it.
This is the stuff that I tell people. Like people will tell me like, "Oh, I don't know how to paint. I can't do this and that." It's like this stuff you could do. It just takes time. It's very tedious, time consuming work.
Yeah.
But when you're done, like all those the little rivets, the little trim, all that stuff, like just makes a huge difference, and it looks phenomenal.
I appreciate it. This was like this one was cool because I had like forever wanted just a fully armored Mercurian without any of the bare limbs. And
Mhm.
forever I told myself I really want like a suit of armor looking Mercurian. And I told myself I was going to do this for like years and years and years. And I
Yeah.
just finally made myself do it. I just like, all right, I'm going to actually do this now. And that's also a Black Knight as well that I fully repainted. And then Bashadi's helmet, maybe? Is it yeah,
It
Bashadi's
could be,
helmet.
yeah.
It's Bouchatti's helmet, and I did some repaint on that as well too.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's definitely some modifications on it.
Yeah, I put some different paint on it, but that was Bouchatti's helmet, and then the rest is just like a Black Knight Legion Builder that I painted. Probably I think it's Bouchatti's cape on there as well too. And
Uh,
then the unhelmeted head is one that I think Dennis Miller It's not Dennis Miller. Dennis Derby. Dennis Miller. Yeah. The really HBO comedian. He gifted me a 3D printed head.
I
Dennis
love the
Derby.
fact that you've got him holding that helmet though. Like I don't know that I remember anybody else doing that. Like I think it's just a really cool idea to have him hold the helmet.
I'm glad you picked up on that because that's like a very small detail. I also love that detail, and it is just it was cool making it happen. It was hard to make it happen. Like if you breathe on it, it falls apart. But it's
Gotcha.
just the the old school strappy belts that come with every single Mythic Legion
Yeah.
builder or every single Mythic Legion forever.
Yeah.
It's just that, and I just sort of like twisted it and folded it and like kind of like had one of the loops hanging out and the rest was like a ball and I just jammed the ball in there. But like I said, if you breathe on it, he stays holding like the belt, but like the helmet just falls, it like, slides off of it. But it looked cool for that picture and it held
it looks awesome. I loved it. I was like, I wonder how he's doing that. Like, did he heat up the hand and just stretch it? It doesn't look like it's actually stretched over the thing. I'm like, I don't know how he's holding it, but it looks awesome.
It looks like it looks like the helmet's got like a helmet strap.
Yeah.
And then he's just holding it by the helmet strap. And
he's like getting ready to go to battle. So
yeah. And the spear is cool too. It came from AWOC, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom.
I love just the mix of everything, and then it just comes together perfect. So all right, tell me about these magic users.
Nice. Those are a couple of my favorites too. The one on the left is a Dubon repaint.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a Lord of the Rings figure. They're kind of weird. Like the older Toy Biz ones are kind of weird where like they're a rubber kind of like shell, like skin that goes over just like a plastic, like a cylinderish kind of shaped hunk of plastic for the torso. So like if you pull it off, you're just holding this like cylinder of plastic underneath. And then like you're holding basically like a floppy rubber piece of cloth, like clothing, but it's made out of rubber. So I decided to try and make this work, and it doesn't fully work. It's definitely a bit of an optical illusion, but I love this figure. It turns out looking really cool. It's like one of my favorite customs I've made. The repaint on Dubon, like I've repainted a few of those Dubon heads, just looks super cool with just like a slap of different kind of paint. But then I put that shell, that rubber sort of Lord of the Rings clothing shell over a mythic torso. I forget what torso I use. It's probably the red shield. I probably used as small of a torso as I had to use at the time. So it's probably at the time it was the red shield torso, which was a little bit smaller than the rest. But in the back, it's open. So like I had to cut open, like slice the back down the back. So like if you lifted the cape up and looked in the back, it's sort of like if a woman had like a dress, but like she wasn't able to zip it up in the back. That's kind of what it looks like in the back.
Just like open enough to make it fit around it.
Yeah, and then to cinch it, I used the belt that you see there that's on it. It's like a mythic belt.
Oh, okay, so that's kind of actually holding it together. It's actually functional.
Yeah, it's kind of holding it together to make it look like it's cinched like around the waist or whatever.
Very cool.
And the strap across the chest as well too. So that's a fun figure. I liked the way that one came out. I wanted a cleric for a really long time, so that's sort of like your classic D&D looking cleric figure.
And then the one on the right.
The one on the right, that is a Furious 4. Like 90% of it is Furious 4. This is actually a really simple figure. I don't think I used any paint on it at all. It's just the Furious 4 with
it's the Praetorian Uwit body.
It is, yep. And then I just used what's the little Varg's hands. And then the Valak head in a Dubon hood. And the last piece that pushes it over the top is this Spawn fodder figure I had. I think it's called Spawn Raven Spawn, maybe. If that's right. They recently made a remake of it, so it's like in like the 7-inch scale now. But that's the original one that like came off of the one like way back in the day. And that's all it is. I just pulled off his like cape cowl looking thing or whatever, and just hung it over the figure's head, and it matched really well. So no paint was needed for the hood. That's cool. That's all that figure is. Yeah.
So
I like that figure.
Is the hood actually different, or is it just that you did like it's the color that you were looking for? Like why the Dubon hood versus the Valak hood that it comes with?
Because it was gray. and
Okay.
the gray, the
So it
Raven
wasn't
Spawn
colored.
figure part was gray, and I was just like,
Gotcha.
well, it's going to be really close looking, I think. So I just tried them out next to each other, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, it's going to work really, really well. Like it's gonna like if you look at it, it's one of my favorite figures on the shelf because it doesn't have paint, it doesn't have any 3D printed pieces on it or anything like that. So it's like really functional as a figure. Like you can get around and play with that,
But
play
it's a
around with it.
cool look. It's like a very unique.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure if you're looking at your display, like it's just a very unique, cool look.
Yeah, it catches eyes for sure. Rick Emmert came over the other day and he was looking at my vampire shelf. He zeroed right in on that one because it
Rick's a
stands
great
out for
dude.
sure. Yeah.
All right, so now we're looking at some actual faces, and
Okay.
wow, this is just some great stuff, man. I mean,
Thanks.
the hair, the highlights, the depth, and then the eyes, man. Like this one on the left, like the eyes are just piercing.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man. Appreciate
tell
that.
us a little bit about this because this is the very detail, like this is the scary stuff, people. You know, people get nervous about this stuff. So tell us a little bit about this stuff.
So this obviously this is not as easy as just popping and swapping something. This requires like a little bit of skill and technique, but like really people like you got to start somewhere. And I didn't start here. Like this is, doing it for a while, whatever. But you can do this. This is actually like the techniques I use are like really easy. Like a lot of people are like scared of painting eyes. And I have a just a technique that I use for painting eyes, and it's really more than a technique. It's just a process, and I have a process that I do, and I do it on every figure, and it just works really well, and ends up like you end up getting cool looking eyes every time. But it's not a hard process. It's just like honestly, it's just a series of dots. It's just a series of different colored dots. And if you just paint a dot inside a dot inside a dot, like I'm a dude playing another dude. Like, you just do that. You get eyes, and like that's it. Like there's some technique to some of it. Um, like I have some washes on there to like fall into the cracks to like make like the skin like the details pop out on the two dwarfs in the middle and on the right.
Mhm.
And then a lot of it is just like our sculptors out there are so good that like their sculpts want the paint. Like they just
Yeah, it's like
they're
screams for like dry brushing and stuff. Like it just wants to catch those details.
yeah, correct, exactly. Like they're like these sculpts out there, like they're so they complement the paint so well. Like they just you put paint on them and like the sculpt does a lot of the work for you. Like especially if you get like a really good one with like really good details in it, like the hair that's on the beards and stuff like that. Like it's really easy to get washes or whatever to flow into those cracks and just like bring out the details and make it look like a more advanced paint technique. But it's really a simple paint technique. It's just paint the whole beard one color and then put a wash over it, and the wash goes into all the little nooks and crannies and gives it the depth and detail. And then I learned this from Eric and Noah. They were a trick that they always said is never leave. I don't remember exactly how they worded it, but it's along the lines of like never leave a wash unattended or something like that. So like after you put the wash in there, just go back and hit those highlight
Touch up
parts
the
again.
details. Yep.
Yeah, touch up the details so it doesn't look messy. So like the
Yes.
wash would look a little bit messy if you didn't go back and like pick out some of the highlights.
Mhm.
So
I feel like even more so with the contrast paints for anybody that uses contrast paints,
yeah, I use those as
like
well.
yeah, I mean washes and contrast paints, like after you use them, you know, because they kind of tend to pool up in certain areas, and maybe it's as smooth in some parts and stuff. You know, that extra little step of going back in and touching up those details makes a huge difference.
Yeah, like the eyes around that dwarf in the middle, you definitely see that like the wash fell into those crevices and cracks and crannies and the details, and they pulled up, and it looks really really cool. Like makes the eyes look sort of like squinty and like kind of like dark. Like there's a lot of shadow in there to go along with the squinting look. But some of that wash obviously it bled over and it like got onto the cheek as well. So like I had to
Mhm.
go back in there and you had to just kind of like with your paint with your flesh color, and you had to go back in there and you just had to touch up the skin tone, which is why I go back to my other thing I told you like 6 or 7 or
You
8
don't want to
slides
mix
ago.
colors and
I don't
yeah.
mix colors. Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
I know I'm gonna have to go back to that skin color. I just want to get it out of the bottle and put it on the skin. Like
that makes sense. That makes
that's what
sense.
I want to do. I don't want to have to figure out like
Do you
recreate
have
the
like
wheel.
obviously
Yes.
there's going to be some that are different, you know, when you're doing different things, but do you have kind of a go-to like
Yes.
skin tone that you use?
Yes. I love Citadel's Cadian flesh tone. I love Citadel's Cadian flesh tone. I use it on most, not all, because I do want to get some different colors or whatever, but I use it on most of my figures. The one in the middle definitely has it. I think they all have it, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe they don't. But certainly I can tell that the middle one has it for sure. And that's my favorite color. And I now I've switched to too thin coats. I use too thin coats more often than I use Citadel anymore. But too thin coats, one of the cool things about it is they give you like the same version of it for like what the Citadel color would be and what the Vallejo color would be.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So like you can kind of like, if you like, so I found, I found the too thin coats, what they call like their Cadian flesh. Like they say like it's like dwarf, I think it's dwarf flesh for too thin coats, but if you look at it on the sheet underneath, they say the Citadel equivalent is Cadian flesh tone. So that's what I use.
Very cool.
Yeah. And the head sculpts are cool. Like I just want to shout out like Noah Pratt and Jeremy Wilson designed those two dwarf heads in the middle and on the right, and they made those, and Noah was kind enough to send them over to me, and I painted up those, and I love the way that they turned out. They do a great job for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on the fact that, we were talking about like the details kind of want the paint, like it wants the washes, it wants to catch the dry brushing and stuff. And I think you're seeing more of that lately, because you either have people that are sculpting that also paint, or you have people that are sculpting that are working with somebody that paints, right? And so that information is transferring over. Like I've given Emil crap because early on, a lot of his sculpts had really tiny eyes, right?
Yeah.
And the more he's painted and got into customizing and stuff, you've seen that kind of change a little bit as he sculpts, because he's like, I might want to give it a little bit more space for people to actually work in this area, right?
Yeah.
Or you see certain details in the hair kind of he's gotten better over time. You see it with Brian Burke. You see it with the stuff that Noah's working on with Jeremy. Both of them. I mean, Jeremy does amazing paint jobs, and so does Noah. So those two collaborating and working together, it's like, you're going to get something that it's going to want to take paint really well. I know the Euro guys, have been working with some folks to get sculpts done, and the ones they did last year, John Caulfield's working with Gia, and they're talking through these things. And obviously John's a great painter. So I think the more that you have either painters sculpting themselves or painters and sculptors talking with one another as they're creating these things, you're just getting these really awesome detailed sculpts that are just fun to paint.
Absolutely. Because they give their feedback and they're like, hey, you know what? When I paint a beard or hair, like if there's sculpts that have like deeper lines cut into them, I find that like the paint settles into like the washes and the paint or the dry brushing settles into those lines or like hits those raised areas better, and you see the the depth and the detail a little bit better. And if you can relate that to your sculptor, and the sculptor's like, oh, thanks, that's good feedback. And if they're if they're willing to accept feedback, and they put that that information into their next sculpts that they're going to make, then it makes an approved product for all of us to have to paint. So you're absolutely right. Like I think the sculptors either painting themselves or having the feedback of painters, like I think that has lent itself to us getting like just amazingly detailed, fun. I say fun because it is fun to paint some of these. Like,
you look at some of these and you're like, man, I just want to hit that. I just want to,
So, like sometimes you get one and you're like, it was a pleasure. Like I'll tell somebody, I'm like, man, thanks so much. That was actually a pleasure to paint this. It was a lot of fun to do it. Like,
absolutely. I think one of the biggest changes that I've seen over like the last 4 or 5 years is, and you can see it in these, like, look at the eyebrows, right? Like early on, the eyebrows were just like a blob. It was just like, there was
no details at all.
There was no details to it. It was all just like one flat thing. And it could be raised. Maybe sometimes it wasn't even raised. And it's like, now you got to figure out how to make it look like hair, how to make it look like it has depth when there is no depth. But you're seeing in these, especially in that one that we're talking about on the far right, that Noah worked on and stuff, like there's so much detail in that eyebrow that, you can hit that with a little wash. You can hit it with a little dry brush, or, hit those individual raised hairs with some highlights. And all of a sudden it's like, man, this looks super hyper realistic. Whereas if that was just a flat blob, it's going to take a lot of work. you know.
You're right. It takes a lot of work to make it look good, and I love that. Like it's the more detail, like even though it might seem like it's exaggerated, or like it might seem like, hey, there's just way too much exaggeration on this. It's
Mm.
not the case. Like it might seem that way when it's unpainted, but like once you get it painted, you see like, oh wow, no, it's actually like the exaggerated details exactly what this needed. It needed hyper details on it in order to make it look as good as it does.
And I've heard, you know, in the if anybody ever goes to intern for a day and they watch Treadaway do his sculpting session, he talks about that. Like you have to put in these exaggerated details when you're sculpting it. Otherwise, when it comes out, it's just you're not even gonna see it. Like you have to have those exaggerated details. Otherwise, it's not going to pop when you actually make this thing. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And because this show is called How Did They Do That? I like to I'm one of these customizers that I love to, like, if somebody asks me how you did that, where'd that part come from, what did you use? Like some people I know are like a little bit protective of those secrets and don't want to say it. I am not that way at all. Like I will be the first person you can hit me up on the side. I will tell you what I put into it, or if you want some help with something or some advice, or if you want to know how a piece works, or if it does or if it doesn't. Like if I know that information, I'll try and help you out with it. So I'll also ask too. And I love getting pieces of advice from people. So one thing that I did get is that knight that's all the way on the left there. That's a head sculpt. I bought it from Mark Calvo.
Mm.
He's a great dude too. He's an amazing
So
artist
good
himself. But he printed up that part for me and I painted it. And I actually was, for the first time, like I love Noah Pratt's paintwork. I think he does an amazing job.
Mm.
And one of the things I've really studied his work is I noticed that he puts like a little bit of color like on his character's cheeks.
Mm.
And it brings them to life quite a bit. It brings his painted heads a lot to life quite a bit. So I actually tried to do that, and I think I accomplished it.
Oh no,
On that night.
yeah, you can definitely see it. It's
And,
awesome.
and it's just a technique. So if anybody wanted to ask or was interested, it's just like a very light, like rosy sort of dry brush on top of the
I
cheeks.
love when he was on our channel and he did that. He talked about Neapolitan ice cream. Is what he talked about. He said,
I think I remember this.
He said, if you
You'll have
think
to
of
refresh my memory though.
Neapolitan ice cream, it's like vanilla, strawberry, chocolate, right? And he's like, if you paint a head like that, and like the top is lighter, you get to the middle, and you're gonna have more of that pinkish tone, and then as you get lower, it's gonna be darker, like the underside of the cheekbones and stuff like that. And he said, if you think of it that way, and you just kind of make your colors work that way to where it's a little bit lighter on top, a little bit more red in the middle, a little bit darker on the bottom. Everything comes together, and that's definitely what you see here, especially on that one on the far left. So
that's fun, dude. I like a good food reference. That's a good.
there
If
you
you're
go.
gonna make me remember something, relate it to food. I'll figure it out.
Neapolitan ice cream, folks. All right, I want to show one more because I think it is absolutely awesome, and I think it's something that pretty much anybody could do. And that's really what we like to try to do on this this playlist, this show. So this is one, I saw the vampire phalanx come out, and I'm like, it just doesn't really do anything for me. I'm not a huge fan, whatever. But you paint certain things a certain way, and I love this. Like you just add a little bit of black details here, you make silver details in other spots, you start painting some of that gold trim and stuff. And while this is tedious and it does take time, this is not anything that is like difficult or should be difficult for anybody to do. But then you look at the overall product once it's finished and you go, man, this thing is fantastic. Like this thing is so freaking beautiful. And it's like, I think it's rewarding as somebody that is creating one of these to see it when you're done. But also for other people looking at it, they look at it and go, man, this is just beautiful. Like every bit of work that you put into this shows, and it's appreciated by people when they see it.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much. This is actually a funny story behind this, but this figure is like a total accident.
Oh yeah.
This figure came about as a total accident. I I actually grabbed my silver paint and I wanted to do a touch up on like a belt buckle or something like that on a different figure, and I was trying to squeeze the paint out into my palette tray, and the paint went bloop, and this big bloop came out, and it was like it filled the palette, like the cup, like a lot. I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, I needed like a dot of paint, and like I've got a whole like soup bowl full of paint. And I'm like, oh my god, what an utter catastrophe. I'm like, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, well, I guess we're gonna switch tracks here. We're going in a different direction than we intended today. And I was like, I have a vampire phalanx sitting in the other room. I've got a bunch of them. I'm like, I guess we're gonna repaint one of those today. So I just went and I grabbed the whole thing is just a repaint of a vampire phalanx.
Mhm.
Just like you said, sort of a boring figure. I didn't look at it the same way you did though. I didn't look at it as a boring figure. I looked at it as the new Black Knight, and the Black Knight was a very, very cool figure for just
Mhm.
using as like a custom base. It's just super fun to paint, really easy to paint. I can paint an entire Black Knight in like 26 minutes. I timed myself once from like head to
Mhm.
toe. I can totally dry brush out and like make a Black Knight, a gunmetal knight in like just less than a half hour. So it took me a little bit more time on this one, but and I didn't go gunmetal. I went silver because that's what I unfortunately had blasted out so much of it into my
Yeah.
paint tray. But that's what I ended up. That's how this ended up coming about. Like I ended up just making a swerve at the last minute, and that day did not intend for this to be on the slate, but that's what ended up on the easel that day, and it
Happy
turned out
little
really really
accidents.
well. Yeah, the black is even not even like even the black is painted on there.
Yeah.
And I had
I
never
love
used
the
that color
flat
black.
black versus the metal. Like, it's
I
so good.
I
Yeah.
love like that's what I got a ton of compliments on this picture, and everybody loved it because of that black. The black was
Mhm.
so smooth and flat. I had never used that black paint. It was too thin coats. I'd never used it before. I had no idea that's how it was going to even come out. And it
Mhm.
just what a cool looking
It
black.
looks like a powder coat, like, that you would
Yeah,
see on something. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, even I loved the way it came out. I was so like intrigued by just the way that black looked after the fact.
I think the biggest reason why I was, just not sold on that figure was I don't like this torso. It's like my least favorite torso.
Oh,
Um,
the red shield soldier.
yeah, I just it's just a little too skinny for my taste. Like, I like the bigger torsos, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then I saw this picture and I'm like, no, I'm wrong. I am wrong. This is awesome. I just needed to see it painted like this. Like, this is
That's cool.
absolutely fabulous.
That's
So
cool. And I like that because I like that I was able to like maybe make you see something different in that sculpt. And I love it when people do it with that to me too. Like I'll see something and I'm like, wow, I really didn't like that thing or that figure or that piece or whatever. But wow, that's such a cool take on it. I hadn't thought of it. And like now I want that. Or no, I've like more times than once. I've had to go out and like get something after the fact because I didn't think it was for me. And I didn't realize like it could be used in different ways. Like now I kind of future proof myself when I buy figures now in the pre-orders. I'll buy a few extra of most figures thinking like maybe I'll be able to use that piece or this piece or those parts for something in the future. So I try and future proof it. The
Well, I don't think we could end this show without telling you that this enabled me, and I went out and bought 4 of this figure after I saw this paint job.
It's
So,
fun, man.
so,
It's fun.
so
I
there you
love
go.
that.
You took a figure that I was not really interested in all, and after I saw your paint job, I'm like, okay, got to go get 4 of those. So
I love
thank
that.
you for enabling me.
Thanks for being enabled. I appreciate it. Boom.
Absolutely.
The
Boom.
the helmet on that
Oh,
on
yeah.
that vampire head though, I do like what I did there, and I think that if anybody wanted to try this out, it's such an easy little thing. But like, I didn't love this head on the
Mhm.
vampire with you as well on this vampire phalanx. I
Where
didn't
it's
really
just got
love.
that kind of open look.
Yeah, I didn't love the way that this head looked, but it needed a couple things. I realized like it needed some paint that
Mhm.
helped it, and like it comes with these helmet attachments that are like newer. I haven't seen them used. They had never been used before this figure came
It's
out.
like the
And
weird, yeah.
weird kind of like I don't know antenna like things,
Yeah.
nano kind of things. I don't know how to describe them, but I didn't love those helmet attachments, and I was messing around with this head and with the Lux skeleton
Skeleton
Legion
from
builder head
yeah.
from the reinforcements wave, yeah, and that helmet has like a visor that comes down, and I was like, let me see if I can make this fit, and I did. It's really 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 tight. Like if you try and like slide it up and down, it will scrape the paint off of the helmet, but if you just want to have it either down or either up, it looks good
Mhm.
either way.
Like, it
um
fit on its own, or you had to modify it to fit?
no, that's not modified. It's just really like
That's
really
cool.
stretched to fit into
I
the
wouldn't have
holes
thought
where
that.
where those helmet horn gas or whatever helmet attachments were. Like it's just pushed into those, but like it's really really tight. So like because it's so tight, when you try and slide it down, it's like it's pushing on the plastic there of the actual helmet, so it'll scrape off the like underneath there. Like I've pushed it on the visor to make it look like it's got like the visor going across, and it looks really, really cool that way too. I think I sent you a picture of it as well with the helmet visor down. It looks really cool that way too, but I do like it better up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just cool messing around with parts, man. Just like trying to figure out what can work. Anybody can do that. Like that didn't require any cutting or anything. It was literally just, well, let's see if we can get that on there and just
accident with paint and then fun playing with toys. So
yeah.
There it is.
There it is. That's how you do it.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. I know this went way long, but like I said, your stuff really matches up with what I like to see. And I get shit from Trevor and some other folks sometimes because I'm like, I tell them like, I don't get the whole Frazetta thing. Like, I don't get it. Cause I look at it and I go, that's messy. Like it's, like I appreciate the people that Frazetta inspired, but I look at it and I go, that's not what I like. I like clean and crisp and everything. And so like, I see your stuff and I'm like, dude, and that's why I've bugged you so many times about creating an Instagram. Cause I'm like, I go to Instagram and I'm grabbing these like photos each week for like shelf selections. I'm like, I want to put Joe's stuff up there, but we promote Instagram ones up there. I'm like, he needs one because I love your shit. It's so good.
I'm sorry, man.
You're all right, man. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you jumping on. Any last tips that you'd have for folks before I put you backstage?
Man, I don't know. I mean, if everybody sees anything that I've done and they ever have any questions about how I did it, like definitely hit me up on Messenger, like Facebook Messenger. I'm always quick to respond. I love to impart whatever knowledge I have. I love to impart it on others. I love to see people do use my stuff. Like I love to see people do what I've done or use my stuff. Like I have no problem with that at all. So like I like to put that knowledge out there. So if you have any questions, I'm always easy to reach and I'm always quick to respond and happy to help. As far as tips and tricks, I don't know any. I've given a lot of them already.
Yeah.
I would just say, I just like tell people, just be like, don't be scared to try customizing figures. Like this line is built for it. Like you don't even need to use paint for a ton of stuff to customize figures. Anything you do to a figure that makes it different or alters it from how it started is a custom. So you put a different head on there, you change out the pauldrons or arms or whatever, like it's a custom.
If you create anything in any way, that's a custom.
Yeah. So like if you've swapped parts, you've customized already. So just keep pushing it and keep trying different things. And I think that it's really fun and easy to find cool ways to make these figures look even cooler. So that's awesome. That would be my advice.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to put you backstage. If you've got to run, I know I've kept you way long, but if not, hang out and I'll be right back with you.
No, like I said, my wife's out of town. So you got me on a good day. I'm definitely, while the cat's away, the mice will play.
All right. I'll be with you in just a second then.
All right. Bye,
Thanks
guys.
a lot. Appreciate it. Folks, that is another how they do that. Really appreciate Joe coming on. His stuff is just absolutely phenomenal. And it's just really just fun, clean looking stuff that I enjoy so much myself. Hopefully you enjoyed it. A couple takeaways, make sure you get yourself a Dremel, get yourself an X-Acto knife. Those are like two very essential tools. Don't be afraid to use parts from other lines. Don't be afraid to try parts from Mythic Legions lines in a way that they weren't intended to. Put things together that, don't normally come together and see if it works. Play around, have fun. So a lot of this is just kind of, messing around with stuff and seeing what works, and just having fun with it. So hopefully you guys drew some inspiration from this. I would love to see what you create. So if you do, pick up something from this and you try something new, maybe you tried some of the slide decals, or maybe you try using some fodder, whatever it is, make sure you tag Joe, tag myself in the Cabal, because we'd love to see what you come up with. And until next time, folks, keep creating.